The following program is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
This I've got to see.
It's worth watching, so stay tuned.
Welcome to the C-Note Show, Wednesday, April 21, 2021. Somehow that works out. Welcome. Show Me How to Live. We're just watching the Audio Slave video that I'd never seen before. And that's apropos. Apropos. I don't know how to spell that, but it sounds good. Welcome to the C-Note Show. This is Miss Cynthia Kruse, the only woman allowed on this show for her professional feminine perspective. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here each and every day. For over a year.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you spell apropos?
Oh God, no.
That's why we have Siri and Google.
Spell
and
check, yes.
My son would say, why do I need to learn how to spell things? You're right. You don't. Never mind. Welcome. We're talking about King energy again today, about trust, about power, about love, how you bring more of those things into your life. And that's why you're here. Whether you came here because she said, I love you, I'm not in love with you, I want to open the marriage. By the way, I want to go out till 3 in the morning with my girlfriends again, or she just does that and doesn't say it. I experienced all those things, by the way. However you found this work, welcome. You know, you're in good company. This is normal to feel lost sometimes. It's normal to feel, great some days and shit some other days. And that's a part of this work. And we'd rather have more good days than not. And that's why you're here. You want to learn the skills of how to have a phenomenal life, a phenomenal morning, day to day, month to month. Our man starting to rise in the world. Cynthia's sexcapade spot. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock. I have a hard time putting words together when there's no panties. There's no panties under the 5 o'clock. Yeah. Oh, it's a shock to Cynthia. Yes, as well. Oh my God. Yeah. Some of these pictures make me speechless. And this is one of them. What do you call, well, let's save that. I'll save my questions. I'll save my questions for a Cynthia's sexcapade spot, which we unveil about the last 10 minutes of the show. Welcome here. Good to see you guys. Hussein is here. Kyle's here. Walters is here. I love you guys. I love it when you keep your cameras on. Matt, Jason, Lon. As long as your cameras are on and your clothes are on. That's our theme. I just made that up. Sounds good, though. I'm going to use that. Cameras on, clothes are on. Wait, she violated the policy. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. After 5 o'clock, the policy goes out the window, though. I like these policies. Yeah, don't take this to HR and wherever you're working. It's not going to go over well. All right, I'm going to jump forward here. 5 o'clock somewhere. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait till 5 o'clock. Oh, my God. Welcome to the show. Let's go and jump into our staircase of courage question for today, which, look at that. I actually failed to ask. Look at this. I failed to type it. Fail. It's 5 o'clock right now, apparently. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do at 5 o'clock today? There's our question for you. What are you going to do when you have your own space and time? Right? I'm just going to erase this and put a question mark. Look at that. What would you do? Look at that. What would you do? Jeff's fails. All right, here's my question. What do you do when you have that time for your own self? How do you take time and space for your own self? Whether it's 5 o'clock or not, whether she has panties on or not, hopefully not for you. Welcome. What do you do for your own self when you have time? How do you recharge? How do you get away? Okay, punch that into the chat right now. And this blank that says, it's just white font. You just can't see it. Okay, when you have time to get away, what do you do to recharge for your own self? That's our staircase of courage question for today. And let's jump into a what would you do? This man is new to the forum. He signed up under an alias. I've spoken to him once. Yeah, we have our second consult call lined up here pretty soon. And I said, hey, jump on the Facebook forum, start a new Gmail account under some kind of alias and start a new Facebook so you can post. And there's zero chance of anyone seeing anything, even though it is, of course, a private Facebook group. And it's all, we've had no problems with any kind of security or anything like that. And it is private. And sign up under another name. So there's zero chance of anything, crossing over to your other Facebook. That's what this man did. So here we go. This is his first post. And I'd love for you to give feedback on where he is right now, right? So our questions are, where is this man coming from emotionally? And what do you think he wants right now? That's the question in the what would you do? So participation section, I'm going to ask you to come on in here in a second. So this man writes, been doing the work and everything for a couple of months now. Progress goes up and down. It was going really great. And then one attempt at boundary setting seemed to set me back to the beginning. Everything was on the up. And then I got told I was weak and I'm not sure what he's trying to say here. And we need room. We need space, maybe. I was told I was weak and I'm not sure what this means. Maybe we need space. That would make sense from what I know of this man. So it goes up and down. It was going great until I attempted a boundary setting, and then I'm set back to the beginning. I put in so much selfless sacrifice, I'm wondering if it's all worth it anymore. I know I'll be okay either way. Seems like our end goal is nearly unattainable sometimes. Okay, so there's more to unfold here than just he typed, right? Read between the lines. Where do you feel that this man is emotionally, and what does he want? There's no wrong answer here, guys. I want you to bring your thoughts, bring what comes up into your gut. This is practice. Everything that we do here, guys, on the show, in our small groups, in my one-on-one coaching, in our courses, in our classes, it's all experiential, right? I asked the staircase of courage question for you to put it out there. Ask these questions for you to put it out there. Go with your gut. So where do you think this man is emotionally, and what does he want? Right? Progress has been up and down. I'm trying to set a boundary, but then it seemed to set me back to the beginning. Everything was on the up, and then I was told I was weak and we need space. I put in so much selfless sacrifice. Come on in, unmute yourself. Where is this guy?
Yeah, I was wondering the other day why this gentleman felt that his boundaries set him back to the beginning. I believe I may have asked him that, but I don't think there was a response on that. But I was curious what makes him feel that it set him back to the beginning.
Well, what would you guess? I saw that you asked him that question, and you're right. I didn't see him respond yet, Rob. Yeah, go ahead.
I can only assume or guess that he probably set a boundary. She probably lashed out at him, and he probably backed down from setting that, from that boundary he set. Because it's new to her. She's not used to him setting boundaries, and he felt like it was, a big confrontational thing, and it set him back. Is my guess on it.
Yeah, thank you. That's where he is. I love it. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Hussein, I saw you want to come in. Come on in.
Yeah, I just had similar questions. I couldn't get what does it mean? Like when you set a boundary and then go back to the beginning, unless that you're just wiping out the boundary somehow. You see the reaction from the wife or girlfriend, and then you just ignore what you set as a boundary. That's one thing that I was just reading, or maybe I'm just guessing that part. The other thing was that maybe I'm getting wrong, but I feel the boundaries. I do this work, and still it doesn't really move towards some end goal or something like that.
So you were a little bit choppy there, Hussein. So you were also saying you weren't sure why he was saying the boundary makes it a start over, but then for yourself, are you saying that there's not necessarily an end goal in mind? Is that what you were saying?
Oh no, what I was saying was that still I see some expectations. So let's say if I set the boundary, if I do the work, then everything would be perfect, or I don't know. There would be some.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're putting yourself in his shoes, thinking that if I say this perfectly or set the boundary perfectly, then everything's going to be perfect, right? Some attachment to outcome is where he is right now. Yeah, exactly. Hussein, I appreciate that. Thank you. And by the way, the hair looks really good, dude. I don't know if you're trying to grow it out or not. I'm getting a haircut today, but I like it. I like the growing out the hair. Chris, I like your hair too, buddy. Yeah,
that hasn't changed in a long time though. It's, I was thinking about. I was just telling my daughter I might go one of those mohawks. It'll never get too long, so I'll be like a little. What was
You
that?
should definitely
A-team,
do 'em.
like the A-team guy. What the hell was his name?
Yes, Mr. T for sure.
Mr. T. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had your hand raised before I went over to talking about hair.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
gonna-
Mine, I was just going to add, I mean, because I was just going to say what you guys kind of mentioned at the end. It just, obviously he's a little bit maybe early on in his journey, as you said, but because obviously outcome independence is really, he has to kind of, regardless of what she kind of says, him taking offense is that he's still attached to, how her emotions are, right? So I was just going to add to that, really. Or say
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So let me take a step forward with this post, with this man, and then I want to ask you another question, right? So, yes, I fully agree that, as I was insinuating, he's shooting for perfection. By the way, I was in this spot. I think every man that's here was in this spot. It's like, okay, what's the one book that I can read? Actually, you know what? Just like give me the cliff notes of the one book, right? And tell me the things I need to say and the mouth flapping I need to do and the way I need to stand for, the 5 minutes that it's going to take to fix this, right? Give me the answers. Yeah, Hans, give us the answer. Give us the one answer.
Well, the one answer is you read all these books and think every little step is a magic pill. You apply it and boom, she's back. She's jumping off the ceiling naked right at you. It's fantastic. But every little step takes an incredible amount of just building practice and letting her adapt to a new way. And she's going to doubt like hell the changes for a very long time. And then you'll make some progress and you think you made it. And then boom, it's right back down again. And you just kind of keep climbing that hill. And you're never going to feel like it's going to get there until you look back and say, man, I made a shit ton of progress on myself and the relationship's getting better, hopefully. But I probably missed a lot. I just joined in. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, all of it is just we expect a plug and play. Just like if I do this strategy, it's going to get this result. And it could, over a long period of time, in a long period of frustration and doubt and struggle, if you can stay true to your core and feel good about yourself and the other things you're doing in your life, then you can endure this waiting and practice and changing. And hopefully she's along for the ride. I mean, you also can't control her. Like, you can think that you can do this to make it better and this to make it better, but there's two sides of the equation. You're not the marionette and she's not the puppet. And I think sometimes, okay, so having said that, like if he's sitting there ranting and spewing things off, I do that too. I say things like right off the top of my head, and I know a lot of them are wrong thinking. And if I was reading it myself, I'd have a lot of critiques for it. But it also feels good to get it off your chest. So there's probably a little bit of that too. Like he's just like, this hurts. I'm gonna vomit it onto this page, and these guys are trained to take it, and they're probably gonna tell me the same 20 things I'd tell myself if I was reading it. So I wanted to throw that in there too. Like I have a little bit of compassion for what he's saying, and the pain he's in.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Hans. I appreciate it. So again, I want to say, Hans, like every sentence that Hans says could be an hour-long topic that we discuss, which is a compliment. Like the advanced work that Hans has done and that he can process and that he embodies every single day is huge. So Hans, super props, man. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah. A couple little metaphors came to mind when you were talking, Hans, about what this is like. So if I want to learn how to juggle, and let's call that relationship, it's not that I can just put the balls down and they juggle themselves. I'm not sure where this juggling balls is going, but we're going to go with it. So if you're learning to juggle 3 balls, it's not, oh, one of the balls is such an asshole, like I wish that the green ball could just stop being such an asshole and it'd be easier to juggle. You're obviously placing blame on something that doesn't need to be there. It's not helpful. And it's also not, when can I just stop moving my arms? Like I want to learn how to juggle, but I have to move my arms and my hands, and that's really annoying. So when can I just do the one right thing and then I can juggle without moving my hands? Like, wouldn't that be so great if that were well, that's not how it works. That's not how it ever works. Another way to real quick is, so if you set a boundary, and let's say that's you building a sandcastle on the beach, That's you setting a boundary. I've never built a sandcastle on the beach before, right? I don't really know how to do it. I don't really know when to say the thing. I don't know when to say it. I don't know the skills. I don't have the emotional control. The 3 forms of confidence that we teach here. And you build a sandcastle and the tide comes in and it washes your sandcastle away. And now, you know, it's in 3 feet of water and you're thinking, oh, that didn't work. Now I got to start over from the beginning. Well, yeah, that's true. Because you built your sandcastle where the tide is going to come up and knock it over. Or the next storm, maybe you build it up higher than the tide comes, and then the next storm happens, the next rainstorm happens, and that washes away your sandcastle, okay? You see where I'm going with this? It's not just about, well, what exactly, where do I build the sandcastle, and what do I, it starts to become more and more complicated. It starts to like flush out the stories, the false stories that you have. Well, it's not about maybe making it out of sand. Maybe it's not about making it on the beach, right? So it starts to, you come and question all these bigger beliefs about yourself, your life, the way to do this. And that's why we're here. Yeah, Rob, go for it, please.
Yeah, and I was going to say there's also a difference between building a sandcastle and being a sandcastle builder. There's a difference between, you know, juggling and being a juggler. But the more you do the work, the more it's going to start becoming a way of being for you. So don't become discouraged, you know, by one setback. Keep moving forward. Keep doing these things until they become a way of being for you.
Absolutely, 100%, totally. And that's a great segue. Thanks, Rob. I'm going to jump over to David Data's Way of the Superior Man. I just finished listening to this book for, I lost count, I don't know, 5 times. I probably listened to the audio, and I have the Kindle as well. If you have not gone back and listened to Way of the Superior Man in the past 12 months, put that on your audio loop, right? Audible.com, whatever it is for you, Way of the Superior Man. Already a couple paragraphs. I want to bounce over to Cynthia for a question. So this has to do exactly what we're talking about today. King energy, focusing your own self, turning your shoulders, yet knowing where the truth is, meaning, yeah, you have to move your hands to juggle. And that's a part of this. And that's a part of the learning that we all go through as men. Here we go. This sense of self-responsibility is only partial maturity. Beyond self-responsibility lies the responsibility to give your gift. So as Rob was saying, that you are a juggler or you are a sandcastle builder. It's not that you do it once. If juggling is your gift, then that's what you're going to be doing. It's not about the green ball being an asshole or do I need to move my hands more or not? It's, I'm going to fucking learn how to do this and nothing's going to get in my way, right? That's your gift. And we'll talk about what that means today. This moment, you know, this moment is bringing your gift to the other men. It's taking notes of what you learn and hear. It's tackling that next book or doing your morning routine. So David Data goes on to say, it's important to grow beyond dependence on your intimate partner for your own happiness, but it's equally important to grow beyond simple independence and autonomy. So let me jump back here. So this is alluding to the 3 levels of relationship we talk about, right? So the base level of I need and she needs, and we'll both just give to each other. And it's sort of caveman, beat your chest, masculine and feminine. And that works for a while, right? That works for a while. But then when you start becoming into roommate mode, or you're both independent people and you talk more and there's more verbal exchange and more of like therapy comes into how can we heal each other? Let's do more talking. It neutralizes the polarity in the relationship. And the goal is to grow through that to a level 3 relationship of your blooming love between the 2 of you. You realize you aren't perfect. You're both human. The sandcastle is going to get washed away if you put it on the wrong part of the beach. And it's about blooming love in the moment and ongoing. It's not a reaching a destination. It's a learning how to juggle all the time with a fucking smile on your face and bloom love and sex and intimacy between the 2 of you. So Cynthia, this man that posted, acting like he needs to be perfect, thinking he needs to be perfect, and also basically saying, you know, assuming that he didn't set his boundary right because she then told him he was weak and she needs space. Okay. So this relationship has been, I mean, guys, we come to this work 1 or 2 years behind the 8 ball, right? So the relationship has been fucking crashing toward crashing toward the ground for a year or 2. So it's not like this is just all of a sudden one weekend. So Cynthia, with that obviously in mind and where this man is new to this work, What would you say in addition to what we've been talking about, the metaphor of he built his sandcastle on the beach and got washed away, right? But what if we know that as a man? So if he comes to this realization, it is about juggling. It is about trying different places for my sandcastle, but it doesn't take it personally. It's the storm, it's the weather, it's the way things are. He's opening to the truth of the way things are. If he embodies that, even if he's fucking up, what is that like to a woman? Even if he was acting, not the way that she wanted in that moment, but he is grounded in this work. What does that feel like to a woman when he's new to it, but he's gonna do it no matter what here?
Yeah, that makes me think of, a man who is trusting himself above all else and is humble with that, the sandcastle building, and just has kind of what Hans said. There's like this compassion when he sees other men and women, building and working on themselves. He has compassion in himself. And that's, this week is about, respect and honor, and how the feminine respects and honors the king. She's going to feel his sense of trust in self. And it doesn't, when you're in the energy of trust and even a sense of proud of self and humble in self and loving of self, that takes away these like little moments of I fail or I succeeded, I failed or I succeeded. It doesn't even matter, because it's it's like a streamline of energy leading into the future. And I think that's what is so compelling about the king, because he really models that, particularly to the feminine that can get so hooked into criticism and measurement and self-measurement, because he's really embodying a different way to hold time and space that is so much more broad, bigger, and strong and magnificent.
Yeah, that's beautiful. If you're on a road trip with your family and something happens outside of the car, you're focused on whatever that thing is. Is that going to be a safety issue? Is that going to blow us off track? Is that going to take us off of our mission here? And if you're just pulled over and you have nothing else going on in life and you're not focused on getting anywhere for your own self and with your family, then small things seem like large things. And one thing I love about what you're talking about, Cynthia, and David Data says is you must feel through your woman. So you feel your woman, but you must feel through her, which means at the same time you feel her, but also have the larger goal in mind. Where are you traveling, either literally or metaphorically, or with the love between the two of you? You have to have that bigger in mind and embodied and still feel her. And that's what David Data means when he says feel through her. All right, he goes on to say, the next stage of intimacy after personal independence has been attained is the mutual flow of gifting or serving each other in love. That's that level 3 relationship we're talking about, level 3 love. You may have noticed that your woman can get lost in her moods. She can get on a roll of hyper nervousness, or she can feel dejected and mope around the house surrounded by a black cloud. It's extremely difficult for most women to get out of their mood once they're in it. Your loving intervention is one of your great masculine gifts. The point is not to be her therapist, but to be her wake-up call, her heart opener, her reminder of the primacy of love. If it takes you more than 5 minutes to open her into love, you're probably talking too much and acting too little. Or perhaps you've forgotten your true purpose. So that's two big things. Okay, perhaps you're talking too much and acting too little, or perhaps you've lost your purpose. So I just gave a good definition for this of purpose of, well, where's the bigger place that I'm driving our relationship? Okay, and so that's the, let's say, purpose in the moment. And otherwise, you're probably talking too much and acting too little. Let me call in a couple of guys who've been doing this work for a while. What does it mean to talk too much and act too little? What kind of acting are we talking about? What kind of less talking are we talking about? So, Andy, Rob, Jason, definitely. Whoever else wants to jump in that's been doing this work for a while. I see Kent. I know Kent's been dating. I'm not sure who else is like dating right now and has different perspective on this, but jump in. What does it mean to talk too much and act too little? What does that mean to open her in love?
Yeah, I'll jump in on this one.
Yeah, Andy.
I can tell a story about this because it basically, there's a story once that I read. It's about a guy that was a nurse in the hospital, and there was this woman in the hospital, and she was on a ventilator, and it got to the stage where she was finding it really, really hard to breathe. And the nurse came in. He was on night shift. He was the only one there at all, and he sat down with her, and he was quite anxious about the situation, and was saying to her, just breathe, breathe. It's okay. Deep breaths, like this. Really anxious. And she was just like saying the whole time, you could see it wasn't having the right effect at all. And he kept going on like this all the whole time. And at one point, she like grabbed the mask off her and just said, look, will you just shut the fuck up, please? And it was in that moment that he realized that what he was doing, his actions of talking, was because he was so nervous about the situation. He wanted to fix it, and he just wanted her to be good right away. And he did that by talking. Whereas he realized that if he'd have just been there, calm with her, had just put his hands maybe on top of her and said, no, I'm here with you, or not even anything at all. All she needed in that moment was just for someone to be there with her. She didn't need fixing, and she didn't need someone to say, just fucking breathe, because that was not going to help. So quite often when a woman is like off in a bad mood or something like that, if we're really uncomfortable with that and we don't want her to be in that bad mood and we want her to be nice and good to us as soon as possible, we might start to be her therapist. We might start asking the questions, what's wrong? It's almost like the neediness, please be okay. But the reason we're actually doing that is because we're fucking nervous about it and we're not being there grounded for her. And that's why we say quite often, all she needs is like, you're just there and you can just fucking hug her. She doesn't need the fix. So that's where sometimes the yak can come from when it's not necessary.
Yeah, I love it, Andy. That's
it's like the most perfect example ever.
Would you just shut the fuck up? Yeah, I love it, Andy. That's fantastic. Absolutely. I'll give space for another man to come on in. Who else has another idea, example, experience from your life about this? Right? What does it mean to take more action in that moment? What does that mean?
I have a very unique example and has nothing to do with me personally, but I
friend. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it was actually a friend who we've been trying to get to come join our amateur baseball team here in town. I mean, a great group of guys. We have a great time. Probably drink too many beers, but that happens. But
5 o'clock somewhere, baby. That's right.
This one player, great guy. He's been on the fence on whether or not he wants to play, and came to a point where we had practice a week ago, and his wife actually showed up to our practice and came to us and says, and he was not there, and says, guys, you don't understand. I need you to get him to play baseball. Like, I need him to get the fuck out of here, like to get out of the house, to find something that's his though. Like, when I looked at that and thought about my journey, I'm like, holy shit, like finding your own passion and your own truth and your own vision and journey is so important, not only to you, but the person you're with every single day. And that experience floored me. And to see that from the feminine side, I was like, wow, this is real. Like how we treat ourselves and how, we go about life, affects so much more in our house than what we even realized.
Oh my God. Yeah. Appreciate that, Kent. That's fantastic. So why is it that it's so important for a woman that the man have his own life? What would you say? Why is that?
I would say, there's a lot of different layers to that, but if the core is, passion is so important to not only a relationship, but to how a woman feels the masculine in her life. And if he is going to go source his passion and his drive and his purpose and his energy in something that truly emboldens him and fills him with gold and strength, and then, you know, comes back home with that energy, that's not only a like release of pressure on her that somehow she's supposed to create that, but then she gets the gift of that, the energy that comes home with that, that is so it's like a relief and an excitement for her to experience him in that place.
Yeah, at the same time, from the same activity. Yeah, thank you, Kent. That's a great that's a great story. Is that did you see that man again after that? Was he embarrassed as hell, or how did it go after that?
I haven't seen him since. I hope to, but
he's like, you spoiled baseball for me. I can't ever show my face again. Let's keep going with David Data. One more paragraph. Thanks, Kent. That was great, buddy. David Data, your masculine gift is to know where you are, where you want to be, and what you need to do to get there. I actually, when I heard this morning, when I was walking by our reservoir over here by our lake and doing breathing exercises during my morning walk this morning, this sentence made me stop, pull out my Kindle, mark the place in the audio and all that to make sure that I brought this to you guys today. Right? If there, I'm actually going to put this into the chat. Okay. If there was one sentence that I could give you about King energy, it's this one. It's chapter 48 or something like that. You'd have to look in the book. It's toward the end. Your masculine gift is to know where you are, where you want to be, and what you need to do to get there. Okay. That, by the way, that may mean 5 steps in front of you. That may mean get the fuck up out of bed today. Okay. It may mean setting a gigantic goal of $1 million a year. I have one of my clients sells supplements and makes $1 million a year or something like that. So he says, if we believe him, and I guess I believe him, right? Like whatever that is for you, it doesn't matter how many zeros are behind it. It doesn't matter how many steps it is. 1 is infinitely more than 0. Okay. Turning your shoulders in a certain direction is infinitely more than doing nothing. And that's the key. That's the key to this is, well, where you want to be may literally be 5 feet in front of you, or, 500 grand in front of you, whatever that is, but you know what you need to do to get there. And if you don't, you talk with other people, usually other men who have done it, right? Sure. Go take advice from other women as well. And you're going to have a different path. So go talk with other men as well, especially about the insecurities that will come up along the way. Absolutely will for every single one of us at different points. All right, here we go. If you don't know one of these, where you are, where you want to be, and what you need to do to get there, then you need to discover it by any means necessary. The vision is essentially the basic gift you have to offer your woman as well as the world. If you have no higher vision than the day-to-day grind of housework, job, childcare, TV, vacations, you're failing your birthright. Your woman will feel cheated and ungifted by you, as will the world, and they will both give you less of their gifts in return. So why is it that a woman might give less of her gifts in return? I mean, I'm assuming that's not conscious, right? Or maybe it is, but why would a woman give less of her gifts in return if we aren't on the path to knowing where we want to be and how to get there? Why will she give less passion in return?
I think there's 2 reasons for that. One, if her way of gifting to you is to kind of pour into your vision and your pleasure and drive forward, if that container's not there, there's nothing to pour into, and she might end up actually feeling resentful or not even valuable in the relationship, because there's nowhere for her to go in that other than just herself. And I guess I gotta figure this out myself.
Be a man for herself. Like
yeah. And the other part of that is, that I touched on the idea of passion before. if you are, and we all go through moments in life of, we're not perfectly feeling lit up, and that's human and normal. But if there's something in your life that's not lighting you up, that you're excited about, passionate about, can be a king about, she actually will feel on the other side, kind of unseen by you, because there's no exchange of excited energy. There's, if you're feeling like the daily grind, there's no way for you to even probably see the love that she's trying to give, or the femininity she's trying to give. And so with that lack of seeing the feminine, and David Data and John Wineland will say this, will often be like, well, never mind, and kind of withdraw and pull back. And I'm not going to give into the space relationship if you're not going to give into the space a relationship. Is her kind of all or nothing, can be her all or nothing safety net, if not pattern from the past that she brought to you in relationship.
Sure. And the stepping back is also a form of test. Like, what are you going to do about this now that I'm pulling it away? Did you even notice that it was there in the first place?
Yeah.
Anything more you want to add about that?
Yeah, that I love what you just said about, did you even notice? That's huge. Again, I'm working with like a whole group of 100 women right now through one of John Wineland's programs. And that's every woman, whether they're single or breaking up in a relationship, this is continually on their Facebook forum, is what they're talking about, is this dichotomy of being seen, pulling back, how much should I give? It's huge. Does he even notice? And they're needing to do their work around that, but it's a core tenet of how femininity shows up, grows, and needs to learn and expand.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. It's so valuable to have your insight, especially with the years of practice and the other groups of women that you're among as well, to give us the behind the curtains. I appreciate that. So to take a step forward today, I do have one. Looking at the time, I've kind of run us a little bit late, so I don't have time for the other forum post today. We'll see what we can get to. I do have a 60-second video about focusing your mind. And so a huge deterrence of this, and something I'm going to open up today, are the shadow forms of the king energy. I haven't talked about those specifically yet. We've been unfolding king this week. Next week, Rob, Andy, Jason are going to sub for us and be hosting the show. So hit those guys up. If you have particular topics that you want Rob or Andy or Jason in particular to bring to the show, chat with them, send them an email, post in the forum, right? They're kicking ass in our group, and I love their support, and I love their coaching so much. So let them know what you want to see from them next week. And then my point is, we'll have one more week of unfolding the king energy. And so I'm going to open up the shadow today, and we'll cliffhanger that today. And a big piece of the shadow is being pulled into the shadow unknowingly, or not having those solid roots for your own self, which is in the second phase of our coaching, right? Stop, grow, and ask. And within grow is rooting yourself in this knowledge, this belief in your own self. So here we go, 60 seconds from Like Stories of Old right now. Focus your mind.
Some things are up to us and some are not up to us, Epictetus wrote. We have no real control over what happens to our bodies, our possessions, our reputations, all the things that can be damaged, altered, taken away from us, against our will. And yet we stress over them as if we have. What we can control, however, at all times, are our judgments, our attitude, and our efforts. So whenever frustration arises, be sure to look at yourself first. Focus your mind. Don't waste time and energy stressing over what you cannot control, and instead remind yourself of what you can.
Yeah, huge theme of reminding yourself of what you can control. I have a couple of paragraphs from King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, which is where I'm pulling the curriculum, right, for King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, of course, the same name, the book of the same name. And now we're getting into the Shadow King. And I bring this up, it just took me about 2 minutes to read a few paragraphs here, is because this is a warning. This is a warning that if this is starting to poke its head out in your life, you know that you've got to start either bringing this to the men, take 2 minutes to journal about it every single day. Think about it when you go to the gym or for a walk. Don't just ignore this shit, because it comes back stronger and louder if you just ignore it. Okay, part of your psyche, the shadow king. Within the energies, there's an active shadow. So the tyrant is out being a tyrant outside of himself to others in the world. And then there's the passive pole of the generally collapsing within, and that's named the weakling of the king. So we have the tyrant and the weakling shadow parts of the king. Though most of us have experienced some of this energy of the mature masculine in our lives, right? The good form of the king, perhaps within ourselves in moments when we felt very well integrated, calm, and centered. And from time to time, maybe from our father or a kindly uncle or grandfather or boss or teacher, most of us have also to confess that overall we've experienced very little of the healthy king energy in its fullness in our life. We may have felt it in bits and pieces, but the sad fact is that this positive energy is disastrously lacking in the lives of most men. Mostly what we have experienced is what we're calling the shadow king. We can see the tyrant acting in the Christian story of the birth of Jesus. Soon after the Christ child is born, King Herod discovers the fact that the infant has been born and is in the world, and that he, King Herod, controls. He sends his soldiers to Bethlehem looking for the new king, the new life, to kill it. Because Jesus is a divine child, he gets away in time, but Herod's soldiers kill every male child left in the town. Whenever the new is born, the Herod within us and in our outer lives will attack. The shadow king within us, guys, will attack. The tyrant hates, fears, and envies new life because that new life he senses is a threat to his slim grasp on his known kingship. The tyrant king is not in the center and does not feel calm and generative. He's not creative, only destructive. If he were secure in his own generativity and in his own inner order, his self structures, he would react with delight at the birth of new life in his realm. So as I take a drink of water here, think about a moment when you've been defensive or jealous of new life, maybe other men or another guy within your work, or she's sort of saying that you're not man enough, right? It's this archetypal man that you're not. Okay, think about how that feels in your body when she says that, or when you come across that in your life. Right? It doesn't feel good in that moment at all. Every single one of us have that. Every single one of us have that. So what are you going to do about it? Have you prepared yourself for that? Are you moving your own self into more generativity, into more creativity in some way within your purpose? Do you have some kind of order, meaning your morning kingly plan? Michael Neal would call it behavioral Prozac, right? Meditating for 2 minutes, writing in your journal for 2 minutes isn't going to fix it forever, but it brings you back into the energy, into the man that you want to be. Okay. And that's why we're here daily, guys. That's why we're here, is that renewal of belief and thought, the renewal of skills, the renewal of new things to try and new inspiration. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys for that. So with that said, for sake of time, let's jump over to Cynthia's Sexcapade spot. I don't even remember what the title was. We're going to find out in a second. I do remember the picture though. So here we go. Cynthia's Sexcapade spot. Oh yeah, Cynthia's Sexcapade spot for today. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's right. There's the title. It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm having a hard time reading for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. Cynthia, take it away. What would you like to share with us for today's Sexcapade spot, please?
Yeah, well, the topic of passion and you going as a man to have your own purpose and the things that light you up and bring you energy outside the relationship. And you might be wondering, gosh, I bring that fire home. I bring that king energy home. I bring that passion home. And she's still not into it. She's still not being affected by the light I'm bringing. And sure, this could have a lot to do with everything that's come in the past and relationship dynamics. But there's also something that can happen in a woman's body where her passion and her turn on gets kind of dampened down, watered down just because of tightness. And as she gets older, maybe it's her overall body gets a little tight, but she also can hold tightness in her pelvic region, in her, whether you call it her yoni or her pussy. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday with doing pussy massage or yoni massage. And there's another technique that's part of that today that is called pussy mapping or yoni mapping. And it's actually going inside of her and helping to touch into and gently release the tension, whether it's emotional or physical, that she can actually have inside of her, unbeknownst to her, that when released, releases her passion, releases her fire, and can really meet you. So I was going to offer today what this kind of pussy mapping, yoni mapping can look like. And it's actually going inside of her and imagining massaging her as if she was set up with the elements of a clock. Like you're going to starting at 12 o'clock, moving all the way around her in a circular motion. So start with reflexology massage, just a few centimeters inside the entrance wall of her yoni. Press your index and middle finger up against the 12 o'clock position, just below the pubic bone. Stay on each point a little bit and let her breathe into this area. Feel to find out whether she's holding anything physically or emotionally stored in each clock space. Then move to the 1 o'clock position, press and hold, breathe, feel. Do this with the entire clock rotation until you return to 12 o'clock again. On the 6 o'clock position, it's easiest to use your thumb, pressing down toward the anus. Move your fingers around her vaginal wall with your index and middle fingers in circles, circling deeper and deeper inside. Now, one thing that John Wineland will often refer to is the feminine's desire to be claimed and led. And this kind of practice is one of the epitomes of claiming your woman, claiming her as king, leading a process for her where she can absolutely relax into your compassion, your wisdom, the space that you're holding, and the fire that you're burning as in for yourself and with her. And so, again, if you're not in the bedroom with her, there's also the mindset of, gosh, like there are so many parts of the woman that you're with, so many points on the clock that you can press into for the whole purpose of let's release a little bit of tension here. Let's bring a little bit of wisdom and compassion here. Let's go bring the king here, just in your daily life together, if not literally on the clock of the day together.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So whether on her back or her stomach or her chest or her scalp or her hand or her foot or whatever that may be, they can think about these clock spaces and see what releases, if anything.
Yeah, or even verbally, it's 3 o'clock and you're having a text conversation with her, or pinpointing time throughout the day with that kind of intention.
Yeah, so a piece of this, gentlemen, is what we're talking about. And David Deida certainly toward the end of his book talks about, for instance, not going for ejaculation every time for your own self. And I say that because this type of work, you cannot be hooked into, if I do this, then therefore I'll get more intimacy with her. If I do this, then I'm going to get, penis and vagina time. Like that was actually the second post, is the guy kind of blew up because he didn't get, penis and vagina time, and it went badly from there. So I'll bring that post up tomorrow. But a piece of this is being on fire in the world and on fire in your life, and having a healthy view of purpose, as we were saying, even today. So you're looking and you're feeling through your woman's moods or through the sexuality between the two of you. That's not the end point. It's like swinging through the ball, right? You don't swing for the ball and then stop when you're expecting to hit the ball. You're swinging through the ball, whether you make contact with the ball or not, is something to think about here. And that you're thinking about hitting the ball to the outfield or over the fence. If it doesn't go over the fence or to the outfield, you can't be pissed off at yourself. It's next pitch, next try, next skill to try over time here. It reminds me of that. And she's going to appreciate that you're there for her and that you're not expecting a particular outcome, even if you're doing pussy mapping and yoni massage and, you're at 6 o'clock and you're thinking, yeah, this is going good. Well, come back to the present moment, come back to breathing through the passion between the two of you, not so you can, get off. Basically, guys. Fantastic. I appreciate it. Today's Wednesday, so tonight's going to be Power 60 at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. I don't know what time that is, London. Sorry, if you're in Europe, you're going to have to figure. I think that's in the middle of the night. So tonight, Wednesday night, is Power 60. It's just men. We talk more about red pill philosophy, Mark Manson's book Models, and other stuff. Yeah, Hans's kid. I love it. Bring it up here. Yeah, dude. Yeah, buddy. So we will see you tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday if you're Patrick in New Zealand. Friday, 5 a.m. is tomorrow. Otherwise, no, guys. Here it's 11 a.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. So we'll see you tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Same time, same channel. Thanks for being on here, guys. You guys are fantastic. Thanks, Cynthia. Adios, guys.
Get more affection, love, and sex in your marriage. Get less paralyzing fear and rejection. Never miss an episode. Watch anytime, anywhere, 3 a.m. on the toilet. Get full episodes. GreatMenMoveMountains.com/VIP. The C Note Show.